Yeah, welcome back to our channel. Um, if you are watching this now, I want to welcome you and then advise that you get prepared because we are going for another round. It's a second level for Excel, uh, mastering the basic for beginners. This is the time for you to bring up your laptop and then open your Excel so that we go together in this journey. Just in case you missed our first lecture, we click it just above now on the card, and you could watch that before coming to these, or if you are already familiar with Excel, you can go with this. But I advise that after this, you can still go back and watch our beginner for level one. Um, it is important for you to understand that these teachings are in sequence. And then we are crafting them to meet the need of everyone who wants to go far in the journey of Excel. Today we'll be going through so many interesting things. We'll be looking at things around formatting, maybe more advanced than we did last time. We'll be looking at rounding up numbers, the way what we're seeing on the screen now. We'll be taking it also from things around changing the format of the presentation of data, looking at going deeper into flash fields as well. We'll be looking at teaching you absolute references, and some shortcuts will be added to it as well. It promises to be a great deal. Sit down, relax as we take you on onto this journey of you becoming a master in Excel. I trust those of us who already participated in level one, by now we will must have been getting value at work from what we have. And in case you miss it, once again, please look it up, and please watch it at the end of this video as well. Um, So let's quickly look at this. We have different formats of data set here, but there's something unique about them. It's about their decimal places, and then we want to round them up. So there is round, a function called round, there is round up, and there is round down. We're going to quickly show us because there are areas where you need this in your presentation, in your computation. You need to round up some figure, you need to round down some figure, depending on the kind of um, policy that you run in your organization when it comes to figures. Now, so let's see round. If you go, you say equals to, type round. Does not matter, it's not case sensitive. Then you open the bracket, you click on the cell there, and then you press, sorry, click on the cell there, and you say you put comma 0. You see, it has round it to the next whole number. So if you drag it down, you'd see how it is here. It has round, is round. What round does is a look at the closest to where the figure is going. Sometimes it brings it down, sometimes it takes it up. Like you can see here, 25.7889 is taken up to 26, and then 26, 3.11, it brought it down to 3. So round follows the direction based on where it's closest to. So let's go to round up. Now this roundup, you will see the difference between round and roundup. Same thing, go in here, click the first one, comma 0, see 26, it's rounding it up then, and then let's drag down. Voila, that's it. So you see it's rounding it up. Then the opposite is round down. Zero. Now I'm sure you will wonder why we're using comma 0 here. That 0 comma 0 is saying that it's determined that 0 is showing the number of decimal places you want your answer to be. Right, so we're saying give no decimal places. That's why we have 0 there. If you want to make every of the answers decimal places, all you need to do is to say comma 2, right? if you say comma 2, it changes it. You can, in case you want to change it for all, you could do it this way and say Control H. Remember what Control H is? It's find and replace. You say comma 0 equals comma 2, and that's how you change things that are common in a cell. So when you do that, it replaces all the comma 0 in it, and then automatically they adjust into 20. I'm sure you know why this is number 4, because 4.00 will be 4. Right, so that's all you need to know about this. In some advanced, also other courses will be teaching you about ceiling and floor, but it's not relevant for the scope of this. Right, so let's also quickly look at some things around. I'll show you something around. We started something the last time, and we told you about 1, 2, 3, and you could drag it down and it will do for autofill. We can also do it for months. A month, like say January, February, right? You already knows what you are doing. In fact, if you say Jan, it's so sensitive that it has mastered it. You can see it's already. I only wrote Jan there. It could give you to December, right? Could give you, and then the good side of it is it could also go sideways, not just downward. It could go sideways. You can see that. I'm gonna give you that. So most of the things that we do, we go. You can see. Can also go this side. It will reduce it. Can go to the left, right. And these are things you need to know. It can go to all directions, right? So you know if it's going here, it reduces, goes backward. If it's going forward. If it's going down, remember, it can go in all direction. Same for days of the week. When you say mon, you know, you just type MON. He knows that you are trying to do none of the week. You can see it gives you there till Sunday. In the same vein, you can go left as well to populate that to you. Alright. Same way, just like it is for that, it can go up and then it can go sideways. You can see. So it goes that way. Very good if you are trying to do create a schedule for that has to do with period. You know, you could do all of this in that way. Very good to know kind of tool. I'll also bring in the data in here now. Yeah, welcome. Now check the data on the board. We just got some name of sales manager here. I'm going to use this to teach you so many things around. If you these names are together, let's first of all check what we call uh, the case. So cases. So this is currently on in a proper case. Proper means it starts with capital, then the adjoining uh, letters are in a small letter. But you can change all of this to uppercase. You don't need to begin to rewrite it to become a capital letter or something. You just say equals to upper. Remember the word upper, meaning is going up, upper, and put it there. Click enter. You can see that. So of course you can drag down. Have you seen it? You can drag down. And you can also do this one is upper. I also do lower, meaning you want everything to be in small letters. So they call it lower. Open bracket. Click the first one. Click enter. You can see everything is in lower case. You can also turn the. I'll show you some things, and you can also turn the uppercase to proper rather. You can turn the uppercase, for example, to proper. Say proper. Maybe you meant it in higher case. You can see it's not proper like the very first one. Proper. See, proper. So, see that there? Now that's a good add to you. You know it will be useful to you when you need to change how. Then instead of you to say, oh, this is in caps, you want to delete everything and rewrite again. No, you don't need to. These are ways you go. Remember the formula? What I advise to you is if you need to pause the video and go back and see what you have done so far, pause it, practice it, and then come back to continue. Now I'm going to show you also using flash fields to say we want to separate. Say you have a list that is like this, and then you want to have um, say separate them to first name and then last name. Now you know this is going to be a good big job. You'll be typing the first names and all of that. But in Excel, it's easy. If you tap the first name here, the very first name here, you click enter. By the time you want to type the second one, let's what's that? Fame. You see, flash fill already sends that that's what you are going to do. If you check on that here, you see that it has put all the names there. First name. So it wants to know whether you accept it. You just click enter. It puts it there. Then if you want to put the last name, I put here Ola Adioti. So that's my name. If you are wondering. And then you put fame. You can see, sorry, put Salem. I made a mistake there. Because it has given me my opportunity. I missed it. But I'm sure that there is a shortcut for it, which is Control E. So just in case you're expecting it to bring your flash fill and it's not because a name is there, you can have a shortcut called Control E. Control E would help you to flash fill at once. That's the shortcut for flash fill, Control E. Um, that's that. Then sometimes you can have three names, right? Let's give you an example. Let's include John. Let's just include three names in some of them. You can see John here. Here you have code. Here you have base. Here you have Julie. So for those who have three names, but you want to pick just the first and the last name. That's what you are interested in because you want to combine the first and the last name. So sorry, I didn't give this a third name. So you want to come here and say Olalekan, right? So you have a third name there. So if you come here and you are saying you want to book the first and the last name, Excel is so intelligent to know that what you are trying to do is listen to the second one. You can see it's already suggesting to you that do you want to write all of the name, right? Or what are you trying to do? So if you tell him that you want to write John in it, right? And say I just did Control E there. It has sometimes a flash fill. So sometimes the flash fill is very sensitive. If it suggests to you once and it's not what you do, if it comes, you will see the sign of the flash fill. You can go manually to go and ask it to flash fill. But instead of opening that bucket, if you press Control E, it will obey you, and then it will bring the first and the third name there with base, right? Now, you see, because this works when you know they all have three names, you put it there, right? So what you want to say is for those who have three names, pick the first and the last, and those who have two names, put just two names there because it's obeying you based on two names. If you now don't want others to have that, if you, for example, you know that the three names stop at this, right? You have arranged it to have three names on top here. Then the other ones here, you know that only the first name you want. You just write only the first name. By the time you type the second one, to type only the first name. Depends on what you want. It will obey you in that order. So we say this is first and last name. All right. So this is a good ad. Still talking about formatting, and most of these things are things that truly you will find very useful when you practice and when you do most of what you do on the system. Let's look into some sorting and introduce a data in again here, and then we'll go look into something else. Yeah, welcome back. Now, so this is a new data here now, data set. We have included region and position. We want to use this to say things, to infect things like salary increase. Let's assume you work and then this is for you to do something like salary increase at work. And so let's first of all create their salary. Let's assume the salary is that they are going. I will use this to teach you many things around many things that you need to know around absolute referencing. It's easy to teach many things around here. Now, let's assume the first person's salary is 200,000. 251,000. Yeah. And you assume that because they are hierarchical, you can see their position. Let's assume it's going to grow by, say, 5%. Right? So you say this multiply by 5%. Sorry. No, we're saying it's going to grow, so that will be 105%. Now, if you drag it down, the last person, we assume the salary is graduating by that parameter. So I just click the comma sign so that it would put them in the right format. We see so some of them were not in this order. Of course, you know what to do if you want to change, put currency into this. For now, let's leave it the way it is. This has to have a comma so that it can be balanced. You can add the two decimal places. Now, when you have all of this data here, let's assume you want to give them, so we'll pay special this because the idea is we don't have salary, we just want to form what we just created this, right? So we just created this. So what we're going is, and what they said to you is pay 5% bonus to them. So let's assume this is bonus. There's a way you can first do it. This is bonus. And then you say equals to 5%. So you want to say multiply by 5%. This is so good. So this is what they are getting. And then you say the new total, which is called new salary. You say this is their new salary. What do? You sum. There's a new an additional way and shortcut to sum, right? That I need to show you. If you press Alt and you press equals, it sums it up. Alt equals, and then you press enter. Fast, right? Very fast. And you click it down. I told you there are many formulas in Excel. As you continue to grind, you pick some more. You pick some more. The more you get familiar with Excel, the more. And there are more than one ways in most cases to do one thing. Only a few Excel formula has one way. Only a very few ones. Alright, so maybe some advanced formulas that were purposely built for that purpose. So other ways might be slower, but you keep on looking for faster ways to get this done, right? So now you have a new salary here. We're good. But there are situations where you may need to be painting scenarios in your work. And if they come back now and say, no, 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 increase the percentage to 7%. Now, if you want to adjust in this kind of method, you will need to go into each of the cell and change it to 7%. But there's another way you can get it done without having to go individually, and there's a better way. So I'll show you that. Permit me to just delete this so that we can come back into what we do. So you call this, say, rate, which is the rate of the bonus, and we write 5% here, right? And then if you come here, you say equals to the cell H4, which is the amount current salary, multiply by 5%. You know, it gave you the exact thing you got there. But there is a reason. You don't want this 5% to change. You want it to apply the same 5%, but you don't want to write it inside here. You just want to hold it constant. So we're to use what we call absolute referencing. So we will make this cell, the content of this cell, absolute, so that I can make a reference to all others. So what we do is, please come look at the formula bar here. You would highlight the I2, right? The cell I2 over there, right? And you click F4 on your system. Now, please note that if you click F4, it doesn't work. It might mean that your system have an FNAR, which is function key, that is automatically set on lock. So look around your computer, you see what we call like FN. In my own case, is on my bottom left rather, in between control and window key. So you just press it once and then go back to press your F4. Voila. You see, it will lock it. Now, how do you know that your cell is locked? You will see $ before the alphabet of the cell, and you see also another $ after it, which is before the number of the cell. So it's locked. Is it locked? So you click enter. The figure remains the same, but if you hover around it, you see that the formula has changed. Then if you go down with it, what it's going to do is the same answer you got before, but it will ensure that for every time you get to each new line, it's referring to this. If you check, this is 1, 2. If you check each one of them, the 1, 2 remain the same. So this is called absolute referencing. So let's total it down here. Total. I'm going to be using most of my auto equals here. You can see how fast and press enter. You can practice it yourself because it also helps me expand the cell automatically. I love it so much. So you can drag down. So we have our total here. You can see when you drag it in, but when I summed the two, it expanded it. Now, what's the value of this? Why do we need to do this separately? You discover that if your manager, line manager, or the board or MD, depending on who you have a responsibility to, comes and say, you know what, we just finished a meeting now. I think based on the profit we made this year, please increase the bonus by 2%, meaning make it 7%. All you need to do is just to come here and change this 5 to 7 and click enter. You see, all the cell changed, all the value changed because it's still referencing this and it changes. So if they come as many times as they have, just put the new percentage they want here and it will. So imagine this data has over 50,000 data sets. And just because you are able to do this, you will know how much time you have saved, how much energy you have saved. Because imagine if you don't know how to do this, you have to be changing that 5% or do the work all over again into the new format. You don't need that. Just send the figure and it will work through. Yeah, that's good for that. Let's look into what we need to do next, even taking advantage of what we have on the board here. I think we've covered much ground here. But I think one other thing I'll do, let me show you before we move out of this cell. I'll quickly introduce you to something that I feel by at this level you should have at least the basic side of it, and then in subsequent teachings we can expand on it. Right? It's called if statement. So we're going to just do a simple if statement here. When we're done with this, we now go to see our table formatting, and then we looked at printing. Please stay tuned as we quickly look into that. Now, if we come here and we want to check, let's assume we want to see the new salary. I will want to check anybody whose pay is above 400,000. We want to identify it, but we don't want to be good. You remember we could have more than, you are dealing with lake of data, and then you don't want to go through it one by one, and you want to know which one it is. So you can come and say equals to if statement. You write if, you open bracket, you say if the first cell here, right, is equals to, now because we said that is 400,000, if anyone is higher than 400,000, so we're going to say if this cell is higher, the word, so is greater than, so the word greater than is used to denote higher. So you write 400,000, an absolute term there, right? We're going to say, so if you leave it that way and go, it is as a default way to say true or false, right? However, you can also give it an instruction to tell you something, right? So let me just show you what I'm saying. Sorry. You can see I put formula, I say comma 0. You can see it says true, I mean false, because this is less than 0. It tells you it's false. If you go down, you can see that's why it's giving you 0 here. So what you need to do here is to say type true here, right? True, and click enter. If you drag down, see it changed that to true, but the one that is false is said false. So we say true, false, tells you true, false. If you check manually, you see that everyone is said true actually. If you are changing your parameter, you just go in and change the parameter here to what it is. This is basic. However, I can also make him tell me something. Maybe I'm doing a report and there's a way we usually communicate our word there. So if you come to the place you wrote yes here, I mean true here, and you change it to yes, you say it should tell you if it is greater than 400, tell me is yes, and then comma, tell me otherwise. This comma means, the second comma means otherwise, tell me it is no, meaning if it is less than 400, tell me no. Always remember to put this inverted comma here. This is called a string, because if you don't put a string in it, it will not obey you bringing words into a formula like this, right? And it means that whatever, just if you understand some programming, basic programming, whatever you assign into this case, this quotation sign, is what you will see there. If I write my name here now and write my surname here now, it would say anything above 400, write my first name, otherwise write my second name. That's what you will put there. You can try it on your own and see how magical that is. Now in this case here, we have said tell me yes or tell me no. Another thing you need to know is that if you want 400 to be part of the parameters that is going to say yes to, you need to say greater than and equals to 400, right? So because sometimes you say above 400, but what you meant is 400 and above. So what we did before adding this equal is called above 500, but this one that I've changed it to is called 400 and above, right? So um, so let's click enter. You see it says no here. If I come down here, it gives you yes. If instead of saying yes I say hooray, if you come down here, it will give you hooray instead of yes, just so you know how Excel works in particular. Yeah, so I just go back. Before some of this is hooray, I'm wondering why you have hooray. Now, you've seen what it is. This is basic if statements. When we move to intermediate level, we'll be showing you the full scale if statement, if nested, if and. There are many, but this is basic, and you can use this at the level at this level to really achieve a lot. You can use it for a lot of things that you can mention. Before we go off this data set, I would quickly like to use the opportunity to show you some filtering and sorting. So let's start with sorting first. If you want to sort this data, irrespective of how big the data is, the formulas, what you do is the same. So we can use this small data set to practice, right? So let's assume this is a data set. If you click, you want to highlight everything. Like I told you, shift control, side key, down key. That's you're highlighting everything here. Now you want to sort it. If you come to your home tab again and come to this funnel-like thing, it's called sort. So if you click it there and you say, if you say custom sort, I think I told you this before, then you can pick, this is custom sort now. You can pick, say, you said my data set has an header because it has an header. So if you open here now, you can say sort by sales manager. You know, it will go from A to Z alphabetically. You do that, you see, it has gone from raising it from A to Z. Right? If you come there again, you could say Z to A. Right? You see, Z to A to Z. Now, this is when you are doing the normal one, but the custom one helps you to be specific. Now, you want to sort by region, for example, you could come here and say region, and then it sorts everything by region. Another thing you can know is that you can sort it by more than one parameter. So I can say set it by region at the same time, sort it by position. It will obey you by doing both. And you could also set it by both and also change it. Say for this one, give me Z to A. It will obey you in that order. Now, I haven't done all of the sorting side. You know the usefulness of sorting. When you want to sort, you want it to come up in some other way. You could see it alphabetical order and any other. There's another thing before I leave this sorting that I need you to know. Let's assume you highlighted some cells here. So you highlighted these two cells and you give them this lemon color, and you also maybe you're trying to highlight some peculiarities, and then this one here, for one reason you say give it a yellow fill, and then you come here to you look at this, you said you highlighted the font, right? And now you want to and the data is large, you don't even know where you highlighted again, but you want to bring all the things you have highlighted up. You could use sort to bring them to the top part of the schedule. So when you do this now in the same sort, now this time around it can be any of the header here. If you go to custom header, it could be any of the other here, right? So let's use these two to do it. Let's say the first one, you want to use the cell color, right? Which is this is cell, the color. If you go to the next place here, you will see that color, both colors that you have. Remember, we have red and yellow. So let's say you pick this one here, and you came here again, you say cell color, and then you pick the yellow here, then you say bring it up. It takes them to the upper part of your distribution. In the same vein, you could also say come to it again, and then let's change this font color. So let's say cell color to font color, and you pick the red color there and you highlight it, right? So it brings the red also up there. Yeah, so you have it there. So you see what is useful for. You will see the value better when you are dealing with a huge humongous data set and you're able to bring them up there. Now we're going to go to a very critical part of this teaching. Let me introduce a new, okay, no, we could also use this one, but let's this time around, let's look at it like we want to do a kind of budget. So let's delete all of this and then let's create a new way. Excuse me. You like that, you do this and you delete. Alright, let's remove the color here. We'll bring it here and then we say no fill. And here also we say normal black color. Right, so now let me save that. So let's assume we want to create a kind of estimation, maybe budget, cost. We're estimating something for all of these locations, and then we say, let's assume we want to run from January through December. So we say January. Remember what we taught you. We don't need to begin to type January, February. This guy already knows where you are going. Let's take it to October, for example. Want to run like a budget for that month, and then so we say 500. Sorry, let's call it 500,000. Okay. And then let's assume, based on how it's arranged, it can skew. So let's say, remember, this has nothing to do with the actual figure. Just want to use it to generate numbers. So let's even alter the number. Let's alter the number here. I think it will be beautiful if we do so. Mine is equals this minus 56, 560. We've got different data sets here. Let's be special. Please do not think this figure will mean anything. We're just looking at this is a budget. They're starting, so it's a grant. They're starting from the baseline. So this is the baseline of the budget at the beginning of the year. I want to be special. The reason why I do this, I don't want it to see it like a formula that I want to change. So if anything happens, it's not going to affect the other cell. So I pay special so that there is no formula in it any longer. Okay. So now let's estimate. I want to estimate our budget to grow. Remember, by say first year is 5%. Want it to grow by 5%. Remember what we taught us on making it that kind of reference. So this is like your budget, your increase. So you say this multiply by this, and then remember we can lock the cell by doing F4, and if it doesn't go, function N F4, and you click enter, and then you can drag it down. Now if you want this one to be 7%, for example, you see, the main problem we have here is that if you drag this to this, hoping to get the 7%, right, it will not, because it is locked the cell into E2. You can see it's here, it will not. So there's an issue there. So what do? Let's assume we have 4% here. The increase staggers, right? So they have different increases along the line, and you want to now, make each of those. Excuse me. Why is it doing that? Okay. just repeat this there. My mouse is outing up a bit. So let's assume they have these various percentage that you want to apply, and you have already logged this cell. There's something you can do on it. You can go and press the same F4 again. Right, sorry, not here. And the first one, yeah. So you can highlight that one and press the F4 again. If you press the F4, you realize that it takes away one of the dollar sign which is on the right to it. It takes it away so that you can open a gateway for you to drive right without locking the cell, so that you can reference the one. So if you drag right here now, you see, you can see that it's changing. Sorry, I beg your pardon. This is an increase, not 5%. It's not like the budget we do. For an increase, you know your 100% must first of all be there before you speak of the increase. So it should be 107. Beg your pardon. Let's correct this. Let's correct this. All right, so let's assume we have all of that covered there, and you see this one already adjusts to it. It's an increment, right? So not just a percentage of. So this is the percentage increment. So we say if we open up that cell there, if you drag it to the right, it applies that percentage increase to each of the lines there. You can see adds those percentage increase to the line, and then it's the same thing. So let's assume we have it from here. You're able to drag it to here. You can also just click down so that it fills the entire table for it. You can see it fills the entire table with that same format. So you see how you can create your budget. For those of you who might be assigned, everybody get this to do. So the percentage you want to use is up there. Because you reduce the reference cell, then it has also obeyed you there. Now this is good for us and good enough. So with this now we have budget, we're good to go. Then remember the total sum. You can come here, of course, my auto equals to, and then say that. Then you can drag the answer, this total to the right, so that you can reflect it on others as well. If this happens and you want to do it at once, you can over whole of them and then click, so that you can spread out the totals beneath each column. Now we have this data set right now. We can now use this to teach other things. For example, let's introduce filter to this. Let's introduce filter and quickly show us one or two things around filter. So you see, I filtered things here. Now you can filter just the way you have. If we say region, and the only thing I want here, I just want only the north. Here I click the north. If I say okay, it reduces everything to the north, so I can view just a north figure here. And if I want to clear, I can come here and say clear filter from region, so that it returns the entire data set to me. Some occasions, if you come here, you see clear here, right, and you can clear, but if you used to this, you get used to that. I can also come here, to look at, let's assume there are repeated figures and I just want one of them. I can click to bring that line out. So it works for both figures and both words. Now, seeing all of this, sorting really it's a very good tool. You can see that header has all of that. We can bring it in, you can bring it out, so you can sort the way you like to it. Not sure there's anything much about that in sorting. So you could also sort, for example, from A to Z. For numbers also, you could sort right from smallest to largest. So there are this. So if I search for United States, it will take everybody. All the lines will sort them and to affect the adjoining lines too. Yes, I haven't done this part. Let me introduce what is very important to us, and that will take us to a landing part of this teaching. Last time I told you of table. I told you if you highlight all of this, for example, and you say Control T, it highlights it, and then you say my table has header. Yes, it does, and then click OK. See, it's changed this to a table already. Now, there's something I want us to see here. It has something called styles here. If you come to your Home tab, you will see that all of those come to design, right? You see style. So all of those styles, they mean something. Right? If you come and open up this guy here, you will see all of them. These are light styles. You can see the way it's changing. These are medium style. They are thicker than light style, and these are heavy style. You can see. You can pick anyone. Make sure it's not very, very presentable. So we just pick this for us to use. Looks too dull for me. I didn't know. I think we could have better outlook. So the table format is there actually also. So I think this blue will be okay for me. Yeah, this is good for the eye. Now that's about table. You could understand that table typically by default comes with filter, like the one I told you. It works the same function. So you see, you could run your reporting in. Another thing I like about table is that when you come here and you say total, example, you can see it extends the table here in the table format, right? And if you come here now and I do my auto, because I say 2, you can see it will fill this one. I don't need to drag, it fills it automatically and it sums it up, right? So that's one beautiful thing I like about I didn't use it to teach you the sum because I needed to show you how to drag down, so I won't just go and do that and you won't know how to do it when there's no table. Yeah, so you haven't have this table. If you go to that, I'm taking you all the size there now, but I've done this. Let's now do what we call conditional formatting, and that I think it's a good way to show us to have a good landing. So if you want to do conditional format, if you come here, you see under the Home tab, under styles group, you have conditional formatting. Now how do you do this conditional formatting? If I say that in that table, if there is anything greater than, let's assume 500,000, right? I'll ask you to highlight it in a color that I want here. If the color doesn't want it, I'll go to custom and I pick a color, custom format, and I pick a color, right? And I say okay. So what I'm saying is, if anything is greater than 500, we give you this color that I just mentioned to you now, and I say okay. So beg your pardon, I didn't highlight this. Sorry, apologies. That's a bit of waste of time. So you say if the cell, anything in the cell is greater than 500, you can see 500,000. I think there are more that are greater. So let's use something that would part it more. Say 800,000. If anything is, do we have anything greater than? Yeah, that should be 800,000. Good. If anything is greater than 800,000, you could paint it red. What I said you there, if you can, if we say green, to change to green. If you don't want that, if you want a custom paint here, you can change it here. And then you change it, but that's too deep a color. That's not recommended. Let's leave it to our light blue here. You can see all this data here are greater than the figure we asked it to highlight. So if you come here again, in the that you can also do less than, you can do between. In the case of between, you can say between one number and one number and to highlight it. You can do equal to, that gives you an exact. Every number in that exact format will give you. Text that contains, so let's assume even in words, you can say text that contains, for example, manager. It will highlight all the text that has manager inside of them, right? So those are the thing there. So, but if you come here, you can also see bottom 10%. Like I can say, in all of this table, give me top 10 percent rather. So give me top 10% and paint it this time around in green. You see, let's give me top 10% here. And same thing, I can say bottom 10 to give you that same bottom 10%. So all of these are way that you can format your table, and then you'll be able to see how beautiful you will glide through when you are working on such, right? When you are working on your data, the data looks much more presentable when you put it in a data format. But caveat, there are certain things that you do that the table itself has an automatic way to add. So if you really want to go through what you are doing step by step, you can finish what you want to do, then convert it to a table by highlighting and doing Ctrl T, or you come to look at it from the Home tab, and you come here and say table format, and you do it there, right? And then you will see it there. So I think we have been able to cover much in today's class. Much to do about nothing. You can see that this is a very long cell. You could print it out as well. It's a long one. It's going to be on landscape, and then you keep on adjusting. I wanted to show you one or two things about this. Because you are doing this landscape, you are in portrait, you can change it to landscape so that it can cover more of what you want to print, right? So there are cases where, because you have that done there, you can either cut this down or make it show you to depending on the size of the paper. There are papers that can accommodate that, or we want to reduce the size of the cell so that it can be on one page. Right now it's showing in 2 pages because the second page will show the remaining part of this. It's a very long list. Now there are ways, so I'm going to just show you all of them. You can say print active list, meaning the list that you can say print entire workbook. You can say print selection, that's the area that has been selected. You can say print selected table. So there are many tables where you've selected one, you say print that one there. Now we see what we change it here. We change the orientation here, and then this is the size of the paper here. If you are going to use a paper that is broad instead of this, so that I can communicate everything, you can change the type of the paper. So, and then you have merging, right? So be careful if you are changing paper, because most paper are standard A4. So you must be sure that what you want the printer supports that size of paper before you change it to it. Then this is a normal margin, and then there is no scaling, right? So you are not, what you are saying is scaling is a way where if you want to actually fit it into a particular row, so you can say fit to one page. You can see now it has taken everything to one page. It's albeit tiny, but I mean it's still legible. So I can print it in one page like that. It gives everything to one page. You can look at it and say you want you fit all the columns in one page. Right? You can say you want to fit all the rows in one page. There are options that are available for that. Now back into this, I think we've been able to achieve a lot there. The another thing you can do is to give it a name. So maybe budget, and let me put that in caps. Budget for ABC Company Limited for year 2050. See, that becomes the header. Wow, I think we have covered so much on this course. What our advice for you to do is to go back and backtrack, look at those that you missed, settle in, go back and forth, learn them. And if you have questions, do not hesitate to put your comments in the below so that I can respond to you. Whatever issue you face while learning, please put it down there, and I'll be able to respond to you on time. Whoa! I hope you enjoyed this teaching so far. If you have, please subscribe to our channel, like it, and then share. And so that you can also get our subsequent video on related topic. We'll be going on to do other videos on some peculiar and very interesting part of the exam. Now that you have the foundation, we could begin to go into some level of intermediate formulas that would so help you. We look at VLOOKUP, HLOOKUP, then we could look at pivot, and then see how we can draw a chart and a kind of dashboard with our charts with slicers, interactive dashboard. We'll look into that in subsequent teachings, and then some tricks in Excel as well. Thank you for waiting, and thank you once again. Do not forget to subscribe, and as we provide more of this on your way. And then remember, if you missed the first one, level 1, beginner level 1, please click our link there or go to our page to trace that out, and then have a good day on that. Thank you very much for your time. See you in our next video. Thank you.